All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, before we start, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone GMS who rule well and will touch this truth. Peace and salutations be unto your fellow brothers, you Akim, that are also pushing out this word in truth, sincerity, and in faith. All right. And in today's video, we're essentially just going to be expounding on Romans 9 and 6. Building upon that precept. All right, where essentially it entails talking about the children of Israel. All right, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. All right, and essentially we're just going to be bringing out some precepts and those willing to be edifying. All right, essentially this precept, all right, it's talking about a very select number out of the nation of Israel. All right, so right off the bat, you can just get the precept.
Yeah, Romans 9 verse 6. Not as though the word of the Most High hath taken an effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel.
Yep, and for edification's sake, before the camera started rolling, before we started recording, out of curiosity, I went into the Spanish translation, in the Blue Letter Bible app, and it actually entails, roughly paraphrasing, it says that they that are the descendants of Israel are not of Israel. All right, which is better put in a different angle, and that's essentially what it is. They are the descendants are out of all the 12 tribes. All right, the ones that know that they're Israelites, that they know that they descend out of one of the tribes, are not the Israel of the Lord. Or in other words, they are the lost sheep that don't hear the shepherd's voice. That shepherd being what? Hamashiach Yahushua, our Lord and Savior. All right, they don't hear his voice. They don't respond to him. They don't recognize it. But the Israel of the Lord, aka the election out of the nation of Israel, they do respond and they do recognize it. But the 2/3 out of the nation of Israel, the ones that are destined to be destroyed, are not. And so what? They're likened unto the heathen. All right, the certain nations that don't descend from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, the rest of the men upon earth. All right, the one that don't have a God to cling onto. The nations upon earth that don't have a living power like we do. All right, but a certain selection of our people act just like how they are. All right, yep. Heathens. That's what they've been likened onto. And we're gonna get another piece of it in Matthew's. All right, where even Yahushua said this. And you gonna bring it out? Or you gonna say something?
I just wanted to say real quick, because what it said, they that are of Israel are not all of Israel, because there's Israelites who are by blood Israelites, but spiritually speaking, they're likened to heathen. Because they act as such. They act very ungodly.
Mm-hmm.
They reject the Most High. Which really that's not it. It's really the Most High rejecting them.
Yes, right.
But they're likened to heathen because when you look at what a heathen is, and what these nations, they don't have a power like we do, man.
Yep. Okay.
So get the next one.
Yep.
Come on. Salakia, yeah. Matthew chapter 18 and verse 17. And if ye shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if ye neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as an heathen man and a publican.
Yeah, and Yahushua said that, all right, and mainly this was context. This was dealing with disputings in the church, talking about brothers. And guess what? Those brothers are these individuals, our former brothers, are Israelites. So even then, the Lord said, to Yahushua said what to treat them, as an heathen man. If they neglect counsel, or if they neglect the church, when talking about business within the or disputings in the church, and he just said what you're gonna treat them as a heathen man, all right. And so that in itself already implies that essentially the Israelites that decide to be rebellious, that decide to neglect the Lord. All right, that decide to be as like on the heathen and take on their customs. Well, you have to avoid him. All right, you have to shun him. All right, because he's not following what his father told him to do. Just imagine that, being a father and having a son, and literally him being not being obedient. You're gonna in this society you can disown him.
All right, scripture.
So
like 2 Corinthians 6 and 14, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communication hath light with darkness?
Yep.
And the 2/3 of our people are in darkness. The rebels, most importantly, you know, that's a good label for them as well. The rebels of our nation, all right, they're the ones that are in darkness, and we are the ones that are in the light. Lord, will we be at that number, especially, you know? And what fellowship do we have with them, man? They're like heathens, you know. They like cause what? Ultimately, the heathen are like, you know, are like beasts, you know, and a rebellious Israelite is just like a heathen because he doesn't abide by the laws of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and especially, you know, right now the law of faith. All right, having that faith, they don't have that, so they're in darkness.
Yep.
All right, and it says here, what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communication hath light with darkness? Yeah, because we can't get along with the rebels of our nation. All right, the rebellious ones, the 2/3 of our nation, the rebels of our nation.
Yeah. If I'm add, even with doctrine, you can't mesh two different things together. You can't mesh two different gods together. They just don't mix. You know, we all have to be of one accord.
Yahweh Shai even said in Matthew's, you know, for either he will love one, serve, what was it? Salakia.
Yeah, you can't.
Can't serve
two masters.
Yeah, you can't have two. Yeah, exactly. Salakia. I misquoted.
Yeah, this is I got pieces though. This is Jeremiah 10:1. You can get the get the next one. Once you get that, this is Jeremiah 10:1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord. Learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. All right, but the point is what I read earlier, you know, and I read verse 1 for a reason. You know, hear this word of the Lord, ye house of Israel. All right, the Israelites, or you know, this message is supposed to be unto you. Don't follow the way of the heathen. All right, just look at it in itself. All right, if you accept, if you do the customs of the heathen, which aren't not the customs of your power. All right, you're gonna get dreads, tattoos. Dyeing your hair all sorts of wacky colors,
getting weird haircuts.
Haircuts that are
that are
getting
ungodly.
getting lineups, marring your beard, and these are just basic customs that you have to keep, like, you know, like the commandments. Have different gods, you know, different ways of life that aren't according to what the Lord taught you. You know, you're going outside the boundaries that your father has given unto you. You being his son.
If I can say, I want to say real quick, because some people might say foolish things like, "Oh, I don't think that the Most High cares about what my hair looks like." If he didn't care about if he didn't care about you having tattoos or lineups, well, guess what? Yes, he does, because he specific. Then why did he tell us to be a specific way? Why did he give us a law on how to even keep our hair and such? You know, about not getting lineups, not putting cuttings in your flesh, not putting, you know, not cutting off your beard. Yeah. If he didn't care, then why was there a law on it? You know?
Yeah, there's a reason behind it.
There is a reason. You know?
Even the dietary laws alone. You know, it's evident that our people, if they were just to eat anything that's out there, all right, you best believe we're vulnerable. Us being Jake, we're vulnerable to the majority of unclean things. Why do you think they're unclean according to the scriptures? All right. Mm-hmm. Just look, pork, which America loves to uphold. All right, this devil
man,
Esau.
They put that shit in everything, man.
Yeah, man. You know. So it's just things like that make you wonder, man. These our people really have been likened unto the heathen, you know.
Yep. You even see video. I remember you saw the nigga woman eating the rat on a stick.
I did not
that's
see that.
So that is heathenistic, man. That is something a Moabite you would see doing, but you see our people doing it, man. If I can get the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is Hosea, the 4th chapter and the 6th verse.
Yep.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Yeah, and that's the knowledge of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, not just any knowledge, the knowledge of our Lord, and the knowledge of Yahweh Yahushai. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, Salakia, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, thy power, I will also forget thy children.
Yep. Yeah, man. So what? And this is a classic precept. Why people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, for lack of the laws, statutes, and commandments, the knowledge, the wisdom and understanding of the Lord that He give unto you. Mm-hmm. You know, a little inkling of the Lord's power that He bestowed upon us. You rejected it when it was in front of your face, when it was given unto you so freely. You know. Of course, there came after the fair share of trials, us going through what we going through in the desert, in the wilderness. Mm-hmm. You know, but that rich history is it was for lessons for us. Mm-hmm. But the 2/3 who have been likened unto the heathen, they're not going to learn from this lesson. All right, only the sheep, as I mentioned earlier, the sheep that hears the shepherd's voice, they're gonna take this lesson and be thankful for it. You know, and never repeat it again. All right, because the 2/3 out of the nation of Israel, all right, although they are descendants, okay, they're spiritual heathen. A lot of people like to say that you can be a spiritual Israelite, which is false. but really, the Lord called you a spiritual heathen. All right, your mind has been so corrupted that you've been likened unto the other heathen nations. All right, that's that's how low we sunk in. Even when you're reading the Lamentations of Jeremiah, it said that the nation of Israel, the wicked ones, all right, they said that this is the perfection of beauty, because the heathen are supposed to look up to us. So how is it that we've sunken low to their level?
Yeah,
that's embarrassing.
How is it that Israel, we have our own thing going on, which was given unto us by Yahweh Shem Yahushai, but meanwhile Jake wants to be like the heathen. You see Northern Kingdom with dreadlocks as if they're Elamites. You see them with tattoos all over their bodies as if they're Hamites. Those are customs of the heathen. The heathen cut their flesh. That's heathenistic to even really think about.
Get the law, Deuteronomy. It's not the law, but
which one? Deuteronomy 4?
It's in the
Oh, you want me to get 4 and 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4. I'm gonna start at verse 6.
Sure.
Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom. And you want me to start at 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, Deuteronomy 4 and 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Yeah, man. So we're supposed to be the role models to these heathen, man. But guess what? The role models have sunk into their level. All right, the Israelites, the wicked ones of the nation of Israel, have sunk into their heathenistic state.
The rebels.
All right. Yeah, the rebellious ones. Okay, because the Lord set up two ways. All right, there's never a gray area. All right, the Lord give you life and He give you death. To record us in that day. Even now. All right. So the thing is, we have two choices. To live or die. And guess what? The rebellious ones, all right, out of the nation of Israel, the 2/3 are gonna choose the way of the heathen. All right, they're gonna be likened unto them. All right, spiritually, although they are Israelites by blood, the Lord's gonna disregard them, just like they disregarded Him.
Yeah, right, I got the scripture. Oh no, go ahead.
I'll just get this real quick. This is Proverbs 16 and 25. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. All right, and that's the point. All right, these wicked Israelites, they look at that it seduces them essentially. It woos them. The way how the heathen are doing it, the multitudes, which is but it's just nothing but evil. If it's against the Lord, they get wooed of it.
It's sin.
Yeah, it's sin. Our people, it's almost like they're enchanted by it. All right, and any opportunity they have to disobey the Lord, they do it. And that's basically what made them unclean in the Lord's sight.
I got a precept. 1 Corinthians 2 and 14. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can they know them, because they are spiritually discerned. Right? Because ultimately, the natural man, the carnal Israelite, all right, he just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand why the Lord, why the Lord said not to do this, why. He wants to know why so bad and doesn't even just go with the fact that, we're supposed to obey anyway, so I'm going to listen. The natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High. Okay? And ultimately, that's them having the spirit of sleep, the spirit of slumber, all right? Because that's what it truly is, because an Israelite that wakes up to him being an Israelite, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments isn't enough. You have to have faith in Yahweh Shai to not be condemned. And guess what? Israelite that does that and doesn't keep the faith in Yahweh Shai, doesn't have the faith in Yahweh Shai, hey man, ultimately the Lord's rejecting him, if he doesn't have faith in Yahweh Shai, because that's the justification in the sight of the Lord in this time. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, and that's pretty much the point. All right, because as for us, in this house, we're gonna serve Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But as for what the Israelites that made the sin are from righteous forefathers, they become likened unto the heathen. All right, they become outcasts. The true outcasts.
If I can say it real quick, because oh no.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like it says, the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, because one of those things is what? Faith in Yahweh Shai, knowing of Him. Being able to read about Him in the Scriptures, and knowing that He's that Him, all right, being the propitiation for Israel. That was part of prophecy. Him being the Savior is part of prophecy. So
Yep. And them being barren of faith, that made them empty. All right? So ultimately, they have no value in the eyes of the Lord, just like the heathen, vanity. Yep. All right? And that's why the Lord's going to disregard them, and ultimately they're going to learn that lesson by death, in the end. But as for the elect, they're going to be exalted,
that's right.
For actually be holding that integrity and that is the Lord, even when the majority of Israel didn't want to. But that's pretty much it. Just edifying, bringing out some extra precepts on Romans 9 and 6. All right, so with that, we want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to
Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem HaKadosh.
Double honors again to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone GMS who were well and taught us this truth. Peace and citations be unto you, fuller brothers, you Akim that are also pushing out this word in truth, faith, and in sincerity. And with that, we're going to say Shalom.
Shalom.